Fear not the unknown. It is a sea of possibilities. Tom Althouse. Welcome to Grounding Journey. I'm Cris Greer. As a 40-something mom, business owner, yoga lover, and long-time spiritual seeker, I've been craving deeper conversations, the kind that arise from connections with other women who are on a similar journey. My purpose with Grounding Journey is to provide a space where we can have real, fulfilling, and sacred conversations. I'm glad you're here. Let's get started. Hi, and welcome to today's episode of Grounding Journey. I'm going solo today to talk about the unknown and to introduce a new series we have coming that is the self-love series. I'll tell you more about that as we go on. But I want to talk about the unknown. I feel like I have been sitting in the unknown for a long time now. I said to my best friend this week that the unknown and I were best friends, and I was thinking about breaking up with her. And then through two other conversations I had this week, it really got me thinking about how uncomfortable the unknown is, but how beautiful it can be. Especially if you've been here before and you learned to embrace it the first time around, it's a little easier to find the gratitude for the unknown. And so the unknown that I'm experiencing right now is through Grounding Journey. I started the podcast 2 years ago, just kind of as a work project to learn. It became my playground. I've said this before. And now Grounding Journey, through my own evolution, has become my service project to the universe. It is developed into a whole product line. It has developed into teaching classes and getting out and being seen more. So there's a lot of that leaning into the unknown right now for me, where I have the creative agency. My husband and I have always enjoyed that. We've got a stable set of clients. We have a great lifestyle that it allows us to. Yet something kept calling me, something kept pushing me more and more into developing Grounding Journey. And so through that, the unknown is where I'm living, kind of stepping back from the creative agency, stepping into this. I don't know what it's going to be. I don't know how it's going to provide for me. I don't know any of this. And so I listen to Dr. Joe Dispenza a lot, do his morning meditations. And he always talks about opening up to the unknown, opens us up to the possibilities. And I think it's easier to find that gratitude when you have a little trust for the universe, because that gratitude, you need trust to find the gratitude, and having that gratitude will help you build more trust. Like I said, it's a little easier if you've been here before. So knowing that the universe is pulling for me, knowing that the universe has always pulled for me through the hardest times in my life, through my dark night, the universe said, you didn't make the change, so here we go. I'm doing it for you. And that's what pulled me into that dark night. And the gratitude for the experience is what pulled me out of it. I talk so lovingly about the dark night of my soul. I know there are many people who are deep in it, who can't find the gratitude, who don't see the love for it. And in a couple of weeks, we're going to release a podcast where we talk about the dark night. We talk about the beauty in it and looking back. And I hope that for people who have gotten to the other side, they will be able to have that conversation with us and really see, yes, it was one of the most beautiful times of my life, because the possibilities that became open to me were limitless. And the pushing and shoving that it gave me took me somewhere I needed to be. It just, for me, is such a beautiful moment. It's the dark night is when I dropped to my knees and prayed. I'd always prayed, but this time I prayed with a difference in it. And that's what I found so beautiful about the experience. So if you are in a dark night and you're listening to this podcast, I commend you for wanting to grow, for not living in victimhood, for not being stuck. And know that we are pulling for you, and so is the universe. I have this little thing, it's a little note stuck on my desk, and it says, "The universe said, I need you to get excited again. I need you to remember you're not in this thing alone. I'm working on your challenges. I've already assigned angels to you. So let go of the stress and just trust me. I've got a pretty incredible ending in store. In fact, that's why you need to get excited again, because the happy ending I've got coming is going to rock your world." And so I look at that every day and I think about how, as long as I remember the universe is pulling for me and I just keep leaning into the unknown, that I'll get there, that the universe will direct me. One of my prayers of gratitude that I do in the morning is I thank God that He has a better plan than I could have ever dreamed up, because this is not where I thought I'd be. And it's beautiful that I'm here. So, talking about burnout also is another um, podcast we're going to have. And so we talk about how the burnout forced us into letting go, breathing into it. And COVID was my burnout. I got COVID in February of this year. It was not severe, like no hospitalization, but it did require me to stop. It stopped me in my tracks. And it took a good 8 weeks for me to even get through it, because I then ended up with uh, another lung virus and a bladder virus. So my immune system was wrecked and it really stopped me in my tracks. I was angry at COVID for a while because I launched Grounding Journey products February 3rd and I came down with COVID February 8th. And I missed the whole fun of the launch, the talking about the products, the whole chakra series that I introduced that I had such a passion for fizzled because I had COVID and I didn't have the energy to do it. And so I was angry at COVID for a while, really until about last week. And it's been 3 months now. But in having these conversations with other people about gratitude, I realized so much. And also having the podcast about burnout helped me realize I'm not a perfectionist. I always make the joke that I'm not a perfectionist, but my husband would say I am. I'm not a perfectionist. I'm a pusher, because with our creative agency, clients expect me to get stuff done for them so they can enjoy the process. And so through launching the Grounding Journey products, the yoga cards, I was ready to push. I knew how to do a launch. I knew what to do in a launch, and I was going to get it done. And COVID stopped me because the universe had something different in mind for me. And once I finally gave into my body being tired and I started resting and I started connecting with what my body was asking for, I was really able to open up to more. COVID was my unknown. And I can tell you, my plans for Grounding Journey and the actions I'm doing in February, those plans are way different than what I'm doing now, completely different avenues. And had I pushed through that, I don't know that I would have gotten here now. I would still be somewhere else thinking I knew what was best instead of opening to what the universe wanted me to do. And with Grounding Journey, the whole point is I'm following my calling, my purpose. So pushing through it and thinking I know what's best is not actually following my calling or following my purpose. It's letting my mind lead me. So by getting comfortable with the unknown, I have opened myself up to the possibilities. And it's been really neat. We don't have to like the unknown. Let me explain that. We just have to respect it. We have to be open to the possibilities, to knowing that the unknown is really the universe unveiling itself to us, that it's allowing the space and the time for our soul to be led and to lead us instead of being led by our mind. I remember when I graduated from school in 2017, it had been a long 4 years. Through that time, went back to school to get a degree. I was working 30 hours a week at my job. I was transitioned into a new job. I was raising a teenage son who was having some real struggles, and I got remarried. So much stuff happened in those 4 years. And all of my friends kept saying, "Oh, we're so proud of you. You're such a role model. You're really doing it." That was the pusher at me that got through that. And I'm grateful for that ability to push. And I remember shortly after graduating, I had two different friends ask me, "Well, what's next? We know you're always doing something. What's next?" And I just breathed into it and I said, "The void. I'm ready for a rest and I need the void." And I had read all about the void in Melody Beattie's books about codependency and slowing down. And she talks about the void is the in between, it's the integration, it's the ability to just pause. So, through living through this unknown of the last 2 years of my creative agency grounding journey becoming what it's becoming, all those things, I kept looking for the void. I kept wanting the void. I kept saying I was ready for the void. And there is a lot of sacredness in the integration. There's a lot of sacredness in the pause. But what I've realized is that it doesn't have to be a void, because in the void, you're not growing. It can be leaning into the unknown that you find the pause, and poise for that matter, and you find the integration. Because being in the unknown doesn't mean you have to push, just means you have to be open to the possibilities and not buy into the fear. And for me, pushing was the fear of not succeeding. So, really leaning into that unknown, growing through my integration and my pause in the unknown, and remaining open to it. So, whether you call that the void or leaning into the unknown, I think it's the same. But for me, it was a different experience from the first time to this time. And so that's where I want to introduce the new series that we're going to come out. And honestly, it's completely evolved. I had no idea I was starting the series, but over the last 3 conversations I've had, I realized there was this common theme, and it was about the unknown. So I'm calling it the Self Love series. It may get longer. I'll let you know. I've got a few more podcasts coming up. So I'll let you know when we're not in the Self Love series anymore. And for me, self love, self care, those are all such buzzwords. They're words you hear all the time, and let them be a reminder for you. As I like to say, find what resonates for you and find your reminders to come back to that place. So for me, self love is listening, self love is leaning in, self love is connecting. Self love is honoring. So, we're going to talk self love about honoring your body, honoring the sacred, and listening. We're going to talk about burnout and self care in the sense of being willing to stop pushing, being willing to open to the unknown. And then we're going to talk dark night, because I want us to come back to that place of gratitude. And for me, the dark night is where I developed my biggest gratitude, and where I return to every time I start to not feel gratitude. Because when I return to my dark night, it gives me, and when I say return to, when I recall, revisit, remember the experiences, the just before, the during, it gives me so much gratitude for now. And then I want to talk about forgiveness. And so the forgiveness for ourselves for not being what we thought we were supposed to be. Because I think in forgiveness for ourselves, we also open up to the possibilities. I hope you will enjoy the series. I hope that this episode was meaningful for you and gave you some stuff to think about today. Thanks for being a part of my journey. I would love to be a part of yours. If you're interested in being a guest on Grounding Journey, I would be excited to hear from you. Please visit groundingjourney.com/explore for the link to apply.